The region is grappling with a complex mix of political tension, grassroots activism, regional diplomacy, and public health milestones. And to help us unpack some of these issues, we're now joined by Dennis Beru, who's a journalist and team head of Grassroots Journalism in Kenya. Jambo, Dennis, habari yako? Hello, Dennis, are you there?
Asante sana. I hope you are doing well in South Africa.
No, we're doing very well indeed. Dennis, let's begin in your country. The country has witnessed widespread protests and now the tragic death of a 24-year-old activist, Julia Kariuki, in police custody. What more do we know about this, the circumstances around her death and how the public has responded?
Thank you so much, Peter Ndoro. Of course, the death of Julia Njoki, a 24-year-old Gen Z who was part of the protest during the Sabasaba, has really brought outrage in this country. And Njoki's death comes at a time when the country is still, young people are still looking for answers to the death of a blogger and a teacher, Albert Ojwang, who was laid to rest 2 weeks ago. Julia was arrested on Monday during the Sabasaba protest, and he was taken to Nanyuki police station, and later on, that was on the 8th of July, she was taken to Lokosa, where she was charged, and she was supposed to be released on a cash bail of 50,000. But because the family was not in a position to raise that amount of money, she was taken back to the police station. And according to the auntie, Njoki was beaten by the police officers in a police station, and she was left unconscious. And this is the reason why the young girl lost her life. She was taken to hospital, but according to the relatives, the police didn't want to get the medical attention, and this resulted to her death. And the death has actually, we have seen protests all over the county. That was yesterday. Young people are still rioting. They are seeking answers from the police officers who are on duty and the OCS of the police station. And they are still agitated, saying that they will still go to the streets to seek for justice for this young lady who was just only on the streets protesting during the Sabasaba.
What have senior police officials said, and has government commented at all on this latest death? Because there's a pattern that's been developing over a period of time now that's coming to the fore.
Of course, during the protest yesterday in the county where she died, the government police spokesman said that there are no records for this case. No one has come forward to record statement for the death of Julia and Njoki. And IPOA, that is the Independent Police Oversight Authority, they have now stepped into this matter, and we look forward to, of course, more of the police officers who had the duty during the time the lady died, being arrested or summoned, because after what we saw with the Albert Ojwang's death, when IPOA came in, we saw the police officer arrested, and also the Deputy Inspector of Police stepping aside. So we might also see the same happening to this case of Julia Njoki.
Still in Kenya, there's another battle that's playing out, and this time in the agricultural sector, I believe. Farmers pushing back against what they see as restrictions on seed sovereignty. What's at the heart of this issue, and how are small scale farmers organizing themselves?
Very interesting, Peter Ndoro, because agriculture is a very is the backbone of our economy here in Kenya, and young women from marginalized regions, a town of Marigat, that is in the western part of Kenya, they want to preserve the past and also planting for the future. And this is just to revive the traditional maize seeds. It is a revolution. They all say it is eco-friendly in agriculture, and they are using wood ash to protect maize seeds from pests and molds. They're also reviving the traditional farming methods that had nearly vanished. The small householders, farmers are not only preserving the rare made varieties such as the yellow and red corn, but they are also building a community around the food sovereignty. The initiative includes a self-built seed banks that stores the seed from more than 20 resilient plant varieties adapted to arid climate. I remember we are seeing the change in climate change that has been happening all over the world, and now they are trying to go back to their the traditional ways of planting and storing seeds. And we might see other women and other farmers across the country now using the same model, because this is a model that was used during our grandparents, but they're now trying to bring it back, because now we've seen what has been happening with the GMO the change in climate, because if you look at our country, Kenya, we never receive rain the way we used to receive in the past.
All right, let's turn our attention to the escalating tensions between Ethiopia and Somalia. Talks over the controversial port deal with Somaliland appear to have stalled. How has this affected relations between Mogadishu and Addis Ababa?
Thank you so much. Of course, the president of Turkey, that is Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has now stepped into this issue because this is an escalation, the tension between these two countries, Ethiopia and Somalia, and the talks between President Erdogan and Somalia's president on Friday, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, in the capital, Turkey. Of course, according to the statement released by the Turkish communication director, the meeting comes at the moment, the tension between these two countries. We have seen the mediation efforts over controversial port access agreement that stalled. And the talks that are now currently or that took place from the month of February 2024 was aimed to resolve the dispute triggered by a deal signed in January 2024 between Ethiopia and self-declared Republic of Somaliland. And remember, Mohamud, the president of Somalia, feels that, Somaliland has not yet gotten its independence. And we've actually seen Ethiopia gain access to over 20-kilometer stretch of Somaliland's coastline. And in exchange, Somaliland will also receive a support for its long-term sought international recognition, which Somalia considers as a part of its territory, and they strongly condemn and oppose the deal, calling it a violation of its sovereignty. So, because Erdogan has stepped in, let's see whether these talks will yield any fruits between the two countries that has had issues for the longest time.
Uganda has reopened a key border crossing with the eastern DRC, including areas controlled by M23 rebel group. What's the justification from the Ugandan side, and how's this being received in Kinshasa?
Of course, the border, Uganda and the eastern part of Congo, that is the Kivu, and the capital of the eastern, that is Goma. This comes at a time when the M23 and the Congolese army peace deal was signed in Washington, where Rwanda and DR Congo committed to supporting the future talks between the rebels, M23, and the Congolese army. I remember the M23 group, which composed of the largely ethnic Tutsi, resumed its offensive in the late 2021. Fighting has intensified since then the group capturing the large area of the eastern Congo, including Goma. And according to the Uganda military assistant, that is Chris Magezi, confirmed the reopening through the social media, stating that the move was made under the directive of President Yoweri Museveni. Remember, the dispute has been there since then. And I remember the last time we saw the closure of the border was in 2012 after M23 launched an offensive in eastern DR Congo, prompting Uganda to shut down the Bunagana crossing for security reason. And it was later reopened after attention eased. So Uganda closing the border again in 2024, the Bunagana and Ishasha after the renewed M23 advances near Goma. So the 6-month closure now comes to an end, and we might see also the flow of business between the two countries, having in mind that the peace deal was signing in Washington, D.C., and the two countries, Uganda now being the third party in this conflict, must also honor that peace act.
All right, on a more positive note, the World Health Organization has declared Burundi free of trachoma, a major public health achievement, one would imagine. What does this milestone mean for the country and the region more broadly?
Peter Ndoro, it is now officially Burundi is free from trachoma, and this is the 8th country in Africa, according to the World Health Organization. And remember, eliminating this NTD is a major milestone for these one of the poorest countries in the world, that's Burundi. And according to the director of WHO, that is Tedros Ghebreyesus, in his congratulatory message, he congratulated the government of Burundi for their hard work and ensuring that actually this disease is no longer in Burundi. I remember people might be wondering what is a trachoma. Trachoma is a bacterium, chlamydia, trachomatitis, that is spread through the personal contact contaminated surfaces and the flies. And also the repeated infection can also lead to scarring and also inward turning eyelid and also and ultimately blindness. The disease continues to affect some of the world's most vulnerable population, especially where access to clean water and sanitation is limited. And remember, sometimes back, Burundi had an issue of access to fresh water and also things around sanitation. And remember, in 2007, Burundi had no official data on trachoma. That changed when government launched a nationwide initiative to tackle NTD, mapping the prevalence of various diseases that also included trachoma. Also, the survey that was conducted between 2009 and 2010 confirmed that trachoma was endemic and in part of the country, prompting swift action. And of course, in 2025, it is a milestone for Burundi because trachoma has been eliminated.
And that's such a good story to end our conversation on. As always, thank you so much indeed for such a comprehensive update. My dear brother, Dennis, have a good day.
Have a good day too. See you next week.
Thank you. That's Dennis Beru.